What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's doing excellent. It's been a minute. Haven't really done a lot since the draft. Kind of taking some time off and training, doing other things. And also, I don't really like to force content when it comes to the Jets. If there's things going on, you want to react to it. But I'm not going to chase up some random, like, oh, who's going to catch the ball the most in 8 games? It's just not my thing. So you wait for something to come out. And today, Connor Hughes kind of shook everybody up a little bit with his article that was posted on SNY.TV, where he was answering fans from questions, and the topic of Nathaniel Hackett came up, and reportedly the Jets tried to replace Hackett, kind of implement a guy that would oversee the offense, which, I guess the first thing is, when stories like this come out, there's always the reaction of, well, do you believe it or not? And for a long time, fans were like, it's the Athletic, you can't believe them, they're always full of it. Then Connor Hughes comes out, oh, it's just Connor Hughes. We're like, well, who exactly do you believe, right? And when there's smoke, there's fire. There's been a lot of rumblings about the Jets' offensive staff since the season ended. When the season ended, Joe Douglas said there'll be no changes to the staff. And slowly but surely, things subtly happened. Contracts weren't renewed. Guys found jobs elsewhere. Whatever happened, but there were subtle changes. But offensive line coach stayed, and most importantly, Hackett stayed. And that was the two areas where everybody kind of complained the most. So whether you believe the story or not, I tend to believe there's something to this. Then the thing is, what is your actual opinion of Nathaniel Hackett? There was a portion of people last year that said, you know what? He's scheming guys open. The quarterback is absolutely dreadful, and they're leaving plays all over the field. Aaron Rodgers said that. Solid at points hinted towards that. So was Hackett actually decent, but he was just hindered by lousy quarterback play? Or could it be a scenario where there's both? And I think when you look at the press conferences that Hackett had last year, when his comments about the utilization of Breece Hall, how they couldn't figure out how to, offensive line changes when they have like their left tackle on an island and never give him help. Things Hackett said never really helped himself, right? So you're like, maybe it's both. Maybe it's just, Zach Wilson, we all know, is pretty bad. But I think Hackett didn't do himself any favors either. So you're like, all right. Now the job is, if you think Hackett is a problem, you're obviously not going to fire him. He's one of the reasons why Aaron Rodgers came here. He's a very good friend. He's like Aaron Rodgers, like quarterback guru at this point, where it's like he can translate the offensive language to Rodgers. They work really well together, so you're not going to fire him. Because that, first of all, the perception of it, the Jets hate the perception of them being in chaos and dysfunction. They don't want to do it that way. You don't want to alienate Aaron Rodgers, who you want to get at least 2 more years out of. So you say, if Hackett is a constant, he's not going to go anywhere. Who in there? Who is going to want to take this job? Seriously, you want to be in a situation where you're overseeing an offense, like an offensive coordinator is reporting to you, not the head coach, and you're going to help formulate the game plan and implement it on game day with a quarterback who is a polarizing figure in himself. Like I think there's not much room for success and a lot of room for failure, where you almost have too many chefs in the kitchen. So it's like, I don't think anybody would want this job. You either want to be the play caller or you want to be out. Now, if you want to say I'm a high-level consultant and I look from the outside in, to be honest with you, that's not a terrible idea in principle, because Robert Saleh is not that guy. Robert Saleh has never developed an NFL offense in his life. So if Paul Hackett handles him a pile of clay and says, you know what, this is my vision for the year, Hackett's like, all right, explain to me why. That sounds good. Let's do this. So if you wanted somebody to oversee, okay, listen, here's the offensive operation. Here's how they practice. Here's their game plan. Here's the mindset. What do you think? Give us feedback. We'll give it to Hackett, like the outside consultant. I remember years ago the Jets had, what was his name, Tom Moore. If you want to do something like that, I guess it would kind of make sense. But the thing is, it's just like you have the elephant in the room. If you have this many concerns about your offensive coordinator, he should have just been fired. But you can't do it. So the Jets are kind of pigeonholed here, where it's like you have Hackett. How do you overcome him? So the way you overcome him is if you have to put all of your eggs in the Aaron Rodgers basket, assuming that he's going to bail you out of bad plays, bad play calls, route tree, things like that. And I think, first of all, I think he's going to do that anyway. I think, it's just like they talked about one practice, he would see a look and he would change the plays. Well, that's what he's supposed to do. He's got a lot of flexibility. He knows the game inside out and backwards. If he sees something, he's not going to force, well, Hackett called this play, I'm going to run it because he told me to. He's not a robot. He's going to see things and change it. That's going to naturally happen. The problem you have is I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on him to clean up sloppiness, lack of discipline. Like you see, the Allen Lazard thing was a complete disaster last year. You kind of have faith in Rodgers. Okay, Rodgers, you got to fix Allen Lazard. You got to help us fix the communication problems all across the offensive line. So you got, like, he's got to do so many different things. You got to bail us out of questionable play calling. And it's a lot for a legendary Hall of Fame player. Can he handle it? Yes. The level of success they're going to have with it, to me, is pretty concerning, because you look at it, if they went through this last year, if Aaron Rodgers played last year, at least you have something on film to say, okay, listen, this is what worked, this didn't work. This is how I flowed with Garrett Wilson. This is how I could work with him. I could work with Conklin. We don't know any of that. So now you have this uncertainty of what Hackett really is, and then you don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to be with him. So there's a lot of moving parts there, and it's unfortunate. And then you add in the fact of, when's Mike Williams going to be ready? How do you incorporate him? How long would it take to do that? So it's a lot, man. And I guess if you want to give the Jets credit for trying to fix a problem where they're kind of stuck, and it's like you have this person you have to use. It's like Alan Lazard, to be honest with you. Alan Lazard you can't trade, so you're stuck with him. So you got to find a way to utilize him. The Jets are doing the same thing with Hackett. We have him. How can we use him to help make Aaron Rodgers be efficient and good, while at the same time, what else can we do to make this offense better, which is the primary key. The Jets are in a playoffs or bust year. They had the talent on paper to compete with anybody, and you got to find ways to maximize it. And how they do that, we don't know. It remains to be seen. But the story doesn't surprise me at all. I'm surprised it took this long to come out, to be honest with you. And that will be the story the rest of the year for the Jets. It's great defense, very good special teams. Can this offense score enough points to take the pressure off the defense and actually win 11, 12 games like they're supposed to, and make a very good run for the AFC East? So let me know what you think. Is this story much ado about nothing? Do you have legitimate concerns about Hackett? Or are you going to say, you know what, Hackett's okay. The quarterbacks were so bad last year that they won with Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian, guys like that once Aaron Rodgers comes, it makes all the difference in the world. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later.